Hello, beautiful souls. Happy Friday. I hope everyone is doing good. I hope you are centering this week. We have got so many crazy energies going around us right now. We have a lot being pulled on us. So if you are feeling extremely exhausted and not being able to focus, very irritable, don't worry, you are not alone. But today I wanted to talk about how to really make decisions when you are in a position where your old mindset or your society driven mindset is telling you to do one thing and your intuition and your heart is telling you to do another. But you are stuck in this position where you just don't know what to do. One of the biggest things that now guides me on my decisions, because I'm actually in a decision making process right now about something that I'm taking, that I really need to think about and that I really need to figure out where I am on that. One of the biggest things that I always have learned, no, I didn't always learn. One thing that I always try to go by now, because I never knew before, was actually taking that time and validating and giving yourself permission to take the time to figure it out. Sometimes when people would ask me, and I had to make a decision, I would make a decision right on the spot, out of feeling pressure or out of just not knowing what to do. And then later on regretting the decision that I make because I didn't give myself that time and that space to actually process what it is that I wanted to do. We have very socially directed habits, I guess you can say, or that influence us on our decision making, and a lot of times that can get in our way of actually following through what it is that we need to do, and we will fall off path. Sometimes by listening to what your friends might think you should do, your parents, society, responsibility, what you've been taught, like the old paradigm shift. Right now, I listen to Abraham Hicks, like I've said before, but I listen to Abraham Hicks, and she actually is one of the biggest things that she talks about is following your joy. And when you follow your joy, what that actually means is that you're staying in alignment with your soul purpose, with what it is that you're supposed to be doing. So if you're faced with a decision and you're not sure what to do, and you're thinking in your head, well, I know my friends would tell me to do this, or I should make sure that I do this because it's the more responsible thing, or, this is how I've always done it, or I got myself into this, why would I get out now? I'm committed. A lot of times if you are in a position where, and not just one day, we all have bad days, but if you're finding that there is a pattern of not feeling joy in a situation, you are in a relationship, you are in a job, you are in a place where you literally every single time you are around that space, you're not feeling joy, that you're leaving feeling depleted, that you're leaving feeling insecure, that you're leaving feeling exhausted or energetically just off. If that is the case and that is something that keeps going, that is the point where you actually need to listen to yourself. If you listen to yourself at that point and you make that decision, putting fear aside, because we are fear driven as human beings, if you put that fear aside of what might happen and actually really try to have the faith, listen to your intuition and follow your gut on things, you will actually fall into alignment. And when you fall into alignment, the universe will start to really open up those doors for you. And it sounds very cliche, but it is so true. Right now I'm being faced with a decision, and when I started to lean towards one direction, I'm not sure which way to go. I noticed that once I started leaning in one direction, the universe started kind of giving me signs. They started giving me, communication through different things. I started meeting clients. I started getting more over here when I was thinking about over here. So if you're over here and all the action's over here, you probably are in the wrong direction and you need to go over that way. Two of the biggest things besides the pendulum, I actually work closely with the pendulum for my own personal decisions too. But at the same time, some of other things that I like to do is, I don't know how many people know that you have memory testing with your higher self. So for instance, if you're standing in a place, you're standing straight, your hands by your side, you're grounding and you're centering and you're breathing, you connect to your higher self. If you ask your higher self a question out loud, now you want to know, what you want to do is you want to connect to your body and you want to ask your body, show me a yes and show me a no. In other words, for me personally, when the answer is a yes, my body will push forward. And when the answer is no, my body will be pulled back. And that is your subconscious self that is communicating to your conscious self of how you really feel without all the outside noise of the world. So for instance, if you're standing straight with your hands by your side and you're connecting and you take 3 deep breaths to ground yourself, you can test it by saying, is my name David? Well, obviously for me, my body's going to lean backwards. And if it's right, it's going to lean forward. But before you begin, you want to say, please show me a yes. It could be going this way. It could be going back. It could be doing different things. And then show me a no. And then you want to ask one question that you know the answer to so that you can actually get that test, so that you can feel that trust. And then you can go into actually asking and getting some subconscious answers. But the biggest thing I have to say is that joy. If you really are not feeling good in a relationship consistently, and you really have given it your all, and you really feel like, just subconsciously it's just not feeling well, most likely that decision is telling you that you need to go another path. And that is feels like it's easier said than done because we're fear filled. But think of it as a blockage. Think of it as like, you're going down a road and it splits, and you want to go to, Disneyland that's on the right, and the left is the beach. No, the left is something you don't want. Jail. Disneyland and jail. If you're going down that road and you make decisions, if you start making decisions and intentions, and you start thinking about the things that are going to make you happy in Disneyland, and the things that you want to go in that direction, your life is going to gear towards that direction. But if you are fear filled, and you are thinking about all the things that could go wrong, you're thinking about all the things that could possibly get in your way, that you're not strong enough, now is not the time. Guess what? Whatever you're trying to do and now is not the time, most likely now is never going to be the time. So, and it'll gear you towards that direction. So think of it as that fork in the road, that your compass, your joy-filled compass, when it's feeling joy, you're on alignment, and when it's not feeling good, you're not in alignment. That is your compass to know which direction to go. So no matter how hard that decision may be, no matter how much your conscious mind might make you think that you want something else, but you're still not convinced, this is a good tool to do when you're having that dilemma. So between the pendulum and your body, I think there's also one that people do with like muscle testing with this one, but I get too much into my head and I can actually affect this one. But try it. Try the body muscle testing and let me know what you think. I just had to pop on there to say that. Have a great weekend and rest. Get lots of love. All right, bye.